Okay folks, so I'm joined here by Mr. Richie Cranny, Mr. Winter Warrior International. Thank you for joining us, sir, all the way from Sydney. 36 hours on the plane, still looks as fresh as ever, so thanks for joining us. So Richie, I just wanted to get just a quick chat with you, just to kind of give an overview to anybody that's doing the Wimp Warrior currently, or people who are thinking about doing Wimp Warrior coming forward now or in subsequent seasons. Just where did it all come from? How did it get started?
Okay, so I've been a MMA coach for a long time now. Used to run gyms in London, and then I moved to Australia, so I have a crazy messed up accent. And then when I was in Sydney, I was coaching for probably 3 or 4 years. I was in my second gym, and I was having trouble trying to get regular people into the sport of MMA. So it was the usual. In Australia, I always talk about when I was in England, the sport of MMA was kind of 5 years behind the US. And then when I moved to Australia, it was kind of 5 years behind in the UK. It was like going back in time again. A lot of negative press. So I was kind of trying to find ways. I opened up a gym called Platinum Extreme, and the idea was it was like a corporate gym, really nice bathrooms and everything in North Sydney, CBD. And the idea was to try and bring people off the street, white collar workers that would never walk into a fight gym, and I could expose what we do in mixed martial arts and what we could give to people, and that went really well. But I could only convert and show what we're doing to a certain demographic. I was only affecting people in that area in North Sydney, so I was kind of trying to think about what I'd do next. And I was just coming up to my 40th birthday, and I was thinking about having another fight. I stopped fighting 5 years previously from an injury, so I was training really hard for that, and I got really fit, and then my back went again, and I was like, I really didn't know what to do with myself. I'm very goal driven, so I was actually having treatment on my back. I was having acupuncture in the city, and I came out, and this idea came to me that I couldn't fight anymore, and I wanted to show more and more people what MMA could do to the community and stuff. So I thought, I'm just going to train one person. If I can't do it, I'm going to train one person for 6 months for free, and I'm going to show that an average Joe can do it and what it can give. So I went back to the gym, and I spoke to one of my coaches, Rachel, back there, and I said, I've got this idea, what do you think about it? And the name literally just popped into my head. I said, I'm going to call it Wimp Warrior. I'm going to train one person for 6 months. And she was like, love it. And I said, I'm going to put it on YouTube, and we'll document it. And that was it. And I literally sat on my desk, and I put a post on my Facebook page. And Rachel, she had a very big following anyway. She's a very famous strength coach. She shared it, and we had, I can't remember the exact number now, it's a few years back, but it was almost 400 people email us within 6 days saying, I want to do it. So it was from there I was like to Rachel, let's not do one person, let's do 20. So that's literally how it started. I had no plan on the structure of the series, and literally how many weeks. I kind of sat down and thinking, how many weeks should I take? And I didn't know how many people I was going to take. It was very organic. I basically did a tryout, so I invited some people down, I trained them, I looked for what I wanted in people, and that was just people that are willing to work, and people that you wouldn't normally expect doing mixed martial arts. I wasn't looking for athletes, I didn't want that. And then that was it, and it's kind of started from there, and since then in Australia it's snowballed. We're halfway through our 6th series in Sydney now. We've got 2 other Sydney gyms. One started this week. We've got another Sydney gym, so we'll have 3 in Sydney. We're in Melbourne, it's in Series 2. We've got Brisbane, Byron Bay, and then obviously we're in Auckland now as well. And we've got 3 amazing series of you guys in Ireland, which I'm sure we'll talk about. We're in the UK, and we've got 3 series in the US now. So that's really happened over the last 24 months. We filmed a series for TV, and that got a lot of publicity, and everything kind of come off the back of that. But
I think from watching the footage from what you shot, that kind of really kind of sold it to the rest of us then, because we like, if you were to describe that as you are, but see it visually, that makes a whole different. It's
exactly.
different.
You can't. That's why advertising is so powerful on TV, because people see it. You have to see it. So I think the transformation of people, especially Wimp Warrior, is born on social media, and it lives on social media, because every series gets a little bit bigger, and because people follow the journey of someone. When someone's on Winter Warrior, as you know from the series, they love telling their friends about it. They show their pictures, they show how they're progressing and training pictures, so their network follows their journey. And that's what basically TV show is, and that's more and more people see it, and I think the finales again are another massive selling point of what we do, because people, even though they follow their journey, their friends and family don't really see them until they see a finale, and then they see what they achieve, and it blows people away. And
that was definitely the reaction we got for a lot of people in the finale in Cork after season 1. It was just friends and family just not realising that the people could get up off the couch and actually fight. You know, the transformations have been amazing. So you mentioned all the cities that it has kind of evolved into now. Well, let's kind of talk about the story of how it kind of got to Ireland.
Sure. So series, I get mixed up now. So Kieran was series 3.
I think it was 3. Yeah.
3. So series 3 was my biggest series I've done in Sydney. My series 1 was at my first gym. Then series 2, I was in between opening my next gym. So I basically held it in someone else's gym in Sydney. And then it was going so well, I opened up a full-time Winter Warrior Academy in Sydney, purpose-built. So I had red mats, blue mats, had a cage in the middle. It was amazing. And then we had 60 people in that series, and I had half of them in the morning and half in the evening. And it was a massive series. And there was a guy on there from Cork, Kieran Cochran, and mad Irishman. No one could understand the word he said at first. People would come up to me going, "Coach, Kieran, I can't understand the word he's saying." I mean, my dad's from Wicklow, just outside Dublin, so I kind of had a gist of it, but even I sometimes. And even now, he talks so fast. But he was a great guy, and we were chatting, and he obviously loved the series, and he got a lot from the series as well. And he basically told me about his hometown, and told me about you guys, and said that we should have a conversation. So we did the intro, and we spoke. And fair play to you, full respect for your coach and head of SPG. You said you'd love to do Cork, but ideally you think that John Kavanagh should have first option as the first series. And then we introduced us to John Kavanagh, and he loved the idea of Winter Warrior. Dublin kicked off, and then you guys had a massive series 1, which was amazing. And
I think Kieran Corgan had a lot to do with the size of the series as well, because we used Kieran's image on the papers here in Cork, and he's a bit of a local celebrity, you know. So a lot of people followed him. But definitely, like when we had that initial conversation, I remember you said, like, would you do it in Cork? I was like, yeah, 100%, definitely. But if you're coming to Ireland and you don't have John Kavanagh involved, it's not going to do the Wimp Warrior brand any favours. You know, if John's behind it, then that's it. It's done. It's like walking onto the late show in Ireland. You know, that's the way to do it. You know. But so what's the future hold for Winter Warrior?
What's the future hold? I've got lots of plans for Winter Warrior. Obviously, we want to. John Kavanagh's just been announced. He's now our business development director for Europe. And what that means is he's going to oversee. So, as you know, it's with Winter Warrior, every gym I speak to wants to do this series because it brings new people into the gym. It's normally run at dead time on the mat, so not many gyms, 5 gyms are open at 5:30 in the morning. So, but I'm very choosy, I'm very picky who I give the series to because I've built up a reputation with the brand that anyone that's in our program is looked after. They're part of our family, and we train them at a certain level, and you know there's no mismatches. Everyone's matched up well, and it's a really positive experience. And I'm very conscious that if it went to someone that doesn't have the same ethics as us as coaches, and if they see it as a money grab, things could go wrong, and our brand could get damaged, and maybe someone gets injured. So we've got a rollout, but I'm very conscious of doing it slowly, and it's very hard for me to roll out Winter Warrior when I live in Australia, in Europe. And John Kavanagh, as you know, he's got a massive reach, and he pretty much knows every gym in Europe.
He does.
And he knows what gyms are good, what coaches are good, what reputation they've got. So I had a conversation with him, and he said he'd love to get involved. So that's basically what he's going to do for Europe. So we're going to have this massive rollout in Europe. When I say massive, I mean, 10 gyms is probably the maximum we do in the next 12 months.
Yeah.
Do a rollout. We're probably going to do 5 gyms at a time. So first phase, 5 gyms, and the second phase. And he's going to oversee that rollout. He's going to vet the gyms, the coaching staff, and he will also go and coach a session during the series, which is massive for the gym. Yeah. So that's where we're going. And then in the US, I'm currently rolling out there. So we've got Vegas and Portland. Timo Yama. So Vegas is Matt Thornton's gym in Portland. He's obviously the founder of SBG. Syndicate, which is a massive gym, John Wood's gym in Vegas. Timo Yama, another really big, well-known gym. Colonel Yama's gym starts next month.
That's in Florida?
That's in California.
California, sorry.
And then I'm to a couple of gyms in Florida and one in Chicago. But it's a very deliberate process. It takes time. And then Australia, I mean, we could probably open something on the West Coast, but we've pretty much, we've got 6 series running currently in Australia, New Zealand as well. So the series, it will roll out as we go, but I'm not in a rush to have 50 gyms tomorrow. It's not what I want to do. But we will, no doubt, this time next year, there probably will be 50 gyms around the world. Awesome. And with that, there's lots of things that I want to incorporate. We will naturally have an amateur MMA league. We'll have all these people coming through the series that want to carry on training, but aren't ready to step into the local amateur scene. They're just not. I mean, we can get to a certain standard, but they need to still be under our umbrella and our care. So there's no reason we can't have an amateur league that we can have Belfast versus Dublin, Dublin versus Cork, and have fight nights. There's a lot of talk, as you know, at the moment about UK versus Ireland, which the guys in the UK are very keen. You're very keen.
They started trash talking already.
Exactly. The Pommies love a bit of trash talk. And obviously in Australia we've got so many gyms that we can have state versus state, and maybe us versus New Zealand. So what I'd like is this amateur league. So once you finish the series, you officially become a warrior. We have a warrior league, and ultimately I'd like one fight night a year. Maybe it's in Vegas or somewhere that's fairly neutral for everyone to kind of get to, and have a representative from each country. So the best welterweight, lightweight, whatever, from each country gets to go on that card, and then we have a title winner. I mean, that's what I'd love. And I think, you get 2 or 3 fights through this, then people will be very prepared to go into further on, not necessarily probably do really well in the local amateur leagues, maybe even turn semi-pro, pro. We've had people in Sydney that have turned professional fighters now.
Awesome.
But that's what I'd like in terms of the academies and the gyms. We can build out. It's not just about 22 weeks finish. We want to keep these people involved. Because as you know, it's very, very hard. It's quite hard to transition people into normal classes after doing winter warrior. Because it's such a tight group, and they're used to that family and the same people around them. And then suddenly they're doing classes in the evening 3 times a week, and they're with people that they don't know. And so if we can keep that going, and give them goals. Everyone loves goals, and that's why Jiu-Jitsu is so popular, because they have a belt, and it's the next belt, and we don't have that in MMA. It's you training. So it gives people goals.
And you just spoke about some of the opportunities there that may come across for some of the people who are going through the process. One in particular, Zoe Richardson, is one of your students, and she's has she created a career out of it to her at this stage?
So those she was in
season 3 as well.
She was season 3 with Kieran. So she was this little pocket rocket. She's like 5'2", I think. Throughout the series, she'd be once a week. She'd be in tears about something. She's very emotional. She was very scared about sparring. It was really confronting for her, but she done really well. She pushed through, and then her fight in the finale, she was. I had faith in her. I wouldn't match anyone I didn't think could obviously stand a good chance in the fight, but she was against the view within the series was she was an underdog. There was a girl she was fighting, Sharon. She was very athletic, taller than Zoe, same weight, but she was just a beast in training. She would just wrestle everyone, and everyone was like, Zoe's just going to get told in this. And I was like, we'll see, I don't think so. But she, amazing fight. She won her fight, and then since then, she was travelling, because she's from England originally, and then she was travelling when Dublin had their finale last year, and it was about 4 or 5 weeks out, and John Kavanagh called me and said that I'm missing a matchup. I mean, this is a situation we've not got a problem with now, because you guys have got Series 1 guys, and you've got Belfast, and you guys are going to be able to intermatch the finales, which is great. But he had no one to match up, and he said, you know, what should I do? And I said, in my head, as soon as he said female, I thought Zoe, and I said, what weight? And he said, you know, 55 or 53, I think he was. I said, I have someone. And I literally WhatsApped her, and she was backpacking around the UK, seeing friends and family. I said, 2 weeks' time, I think it was 3 weeks' time, I said, do you want to fight the finale? And like, she come back, she was like, yes. And then she was like, she put the phone down and she shit herself and crying, and all the nerves came in, but she's just up for it. So, long story short, she fought in that finale, and I flew out and I cornered her, and she won that. And then since then, the next series, Winter Warrior, there was a girl got injured a couple of weeks out, and again, Zoe was up in Queensland doing some, she was working up there, and I called her up and said, Zoe, as soon as she said coach on her phone call, she knew it. She goes, coach, are you ringing me about finale? And I thought, yep. I said, so she came down and she fought and she won that one, so she's 3-0 now. But since then, the business is growing, as you know, and we're managing the rollout of all these gyms. So, I mean, there's 3 people that work in the business currently, and everyone that works in Winter Warrior has been through the series.
Yep.
And Zoe, I needed someone to come in and help manage the rollout, and so she was the obvious choice, so now she works in Winter Warrior full time. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, it's that family mentality. There's no reason for anything that we do that I need to go outside. Mm-hmm. If I need a builder, there'd be someone in Winter Warrior. We've got such a...
It's like the stonemasons.
Yeah, exactly.
Handshaking.
Yeah, exactly.
For own underground tunnels.
Yeah, exactly.
So with no traffic problems. But yeah, so we're actually just talking about the Cork season. So we're starting season 2 at the moment. We have half the people already picked. So just due to lots of different reasons, there's communions, there's confirmations, there's college exams. There's been a heap of people that have shown interest but haven't had a chance to get to the tryouts yet. So we're going to do one more tryout, which is going to be on the 27th of May. We've got a lot of people booked in for already, and then officially season 2 starts on the 29th of May. And in particular, we're looking for girls. We have a bunch of girls already, and we'd like more. We'd like more females in there. We had 10 fierce females in season 1, and we're looking to beat that this time. So
yes, come on, girls. We're in Sydney. Literally, it's pretty much close to 50% male, female in our series, which is amazing. I mean, we had the Series 1, we had females, and there was no females in the UFC back then. Mm-hmm. You know, it's the way the sport's going, and they make such good fights at finale.
Yeah,
and they're a joy to coach as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously, the emotion is there, a little bit more emotion with some of the girls, but I love seeing them. I love seeing them progress and come through finale. And it's so important for girls to defend themselves and have that confidence as well.
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, come on, girls, let's go, Cork.
Let's get it. Yeah. So get on the site, guys, wimpwarrior.com. You can register your interest there. You can message us on SPG Cork City. Give us a shout on Facebook, and just get here on the 27th of May. And thanks again, Richie, for talking to us.
Thank you, Jen.
We'll see you over the next couple of weeks.
You will. See you, guys.